I've been through it and I'm seeing a lot of guys go through it right now. So I wanted to make this video because I've been noticing several people in my Facebook group struggle with this, and I imagine a lot of guys who are in the middle of their hair growth journey are as well. And that is information overload. Advice being thrown around left and right, products being marketed at you constantly. Who do you trust? What products are the best? What ingredients should you be avoiding? What hair care regimen should you follow? You just want your hair to stop being frizzy or to stop being oily. And all of a sudden you're getting thrust into this like hair science black hole, and you just want to say screw it and cut your hair. You wish there was just one place you could go that just simplifies this, tells you exactly what you need to do. Guys, today in this video, I just want to give you my 5 best tips to not get overwhelmed and to avoid burnout when growing out your hair. Let's get into it. What's up guys, Trav White here. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I try and bring the science of grooming and style to you so you can simplify things like hair care, skin care, style. And if that sounds like something you're interested in, then please hit that like and subscribe button and join the family, because I want to get these videos as far and wide out to guys who need it as possible. And that really helps the YouTube algorithm and helps more guys see it. Okay, let's get into it. Tip number 1, it's not as complicated as everyone is making it out to be. Yes, it can be complicated, but the only reason it seems incredibly complicated right now is because everyone has different hair types. So you might be getting contradicting advice from guys with totally different hair types than you, and you might start to question everything you're doing. And the reasons that it sounds contradictory is usually because different hair types require opposite ways of treating it, right? So a guy with dry hair will use a completely different type of shampoo and conditioner than a guy with an oily scalp. And a guy with dry hair might use a hair oil, where a guy who has really greasy hair might not need to use any oils. And a guy who has curly frizzy hair might use really gentle shampoos or not even use a type of shampoo. They might just do a co-wash, whereas a guy with straight oily hair needs to use a little bit stronger shampoos and a little bit stronger of a surfactant. So you can see how this can start to get overwhelming if you're just dipping your toes into long hair for the very first time. Another thing is many YouTubers give contradictory advice because many YouTubers have different hair types as well. So when I make videos, I do my best to research every single hair type and to try and give advice for each unique situation, and that can seem like a lot of information. Let's take a second real quick and zoom out. Right? And just ask, what's the ultimate goal? And that ultimate goal is shiny, healthy hair. And the reality is, once you know what your unique hair type is, then your whole hair care regimen becomes so much simpler. So before you take advice from anyone, first find out if they have the same hair type as you. And if you're sitting there wondering how to find out what your hair type even is, then check out my introductory video to this. It's called The Ultimate Guide to Men's Hair Types. I'll link to it in the description. And you can also download my free PDF as well. I'll link to it in the description also. For you to discover what your own hair type is, you can fill it in at the very bottom. I give fill in the blank spaces for you to type it in. So tip number 2 is, there still is a learning curve, right? You know, if this is your first time growing your hair out, there will be a learning curve. But there's also a learning curve when you tried a new sport, or when you just started lifting weights, or you just started learning about muscle gain and nutrition. You know, during your first time of going through something new, you have to learn new things and you have to put in reps, right? So go easy on yourself, right? It takes practice and it takes some trial and error to figure it out. I'm 2.5 years into my hair growth journey, and I'm still learning new things about my hair every single day. Hair science is exactly that. It's a science.
Yeah, Mr. White. Yes, science.
You know, there's a cosmetic science degree at universities and at schools for a reason. So don't give up if the first couple of products you try don't give you the results you want. Keep learning, keep testing things, and pretty soon, as with most things in life, you will get the hang of it after a little bit. Tip number 3, the awkward phase is the hardest part. Don't give up here. 3 to 6 months in, it starts, right? 6 to 9 months later, it's still there, or it seems like it's just never going away. You know, this 6-month window can really feel like a lifetime. And if you have curly hair, it could be 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 months. I get it. Once you start to get to the end of that awkward stage, you really start to see some hope and get some excitement, but it's really easy to give up during this time. I wanted to throw in the towel several times. And if I'm being honest with you, there are many days where I still want to cut it. You know, there's days where it's just frizzy no matter what I do, or where I'm spending an extra 15 to 20 minutes in the shower just washing my hair and letting, you know, the conditioner sit and then air drying it versus blow drying it. And then it gets caught in a ton of things. The wind is my worst enemy when I don't want to put it up in a bun. Like there's hair shedding all over my house, and I also have 2 dogs that shed. You know, it's like some days it's just unmanageable no matter what I try, and I want to throw in the towel. But I'll tell you what helps me, and this is what will help you too, is there is having a community of guys to keep you going when those days of doubt kick in, right? One of the primary reasons I started my Mannered Mains Facebook group was so that guys could have a community and go through it together. Because this is new for a lot of guys, especially now during quarantine. And a group of guys who are positive and encouraging and lift you up if you're struggling, that will help you not throw in the towel. So please do come join us. Tip number 4 is free advice isn't always the best advice, right? Everyone might have really good intentions, but that doesn't mean that the information is always correct. So sometimes people can have the right intention, but the wrong information. So I would suggest taking advice from someone whom you trust, or someone who's an expert and someone who can show you that they got the knowledge from different researches, different studies, or they've tried it themselves. And I'm not even saying you should listen to me. I'm not a cosmetic scientist. I'm not a trichologist. I'm not a chemist or a dermatologist. I do research studies from all of those journals, and I do try my best to bring you credible information, but that doesn't mean that I won't make an error, or that I might interpret a study wrong, or that I might skip over something that's important. But I will always share what I find because I trust myself to be as thorough as I can. But at the end of the day, be cognizant of who you get advice from. Free advice isn't always the best advice. Sometimes you get what you pay for, and that's nothing. So tip number 5 is patience is a virtue. At the risk of sounding super cliche, this is probably the most important one, right? So growing my hair actually taught me a very important life lesson, and that is the art of delayed gratification. And nearly everything that's worth it, that's built on a solid foundation in life, comes as a result of suffering first and reaping the benefits second. If you want to build muscle, you gotta put in work at the gym, you gotta suffer through, you have to go through the pain of breaking down your muscles, you gotta put in the blood, sweat, and the tears to get the reward of growth. If you want to live off of passive income for the rest of your life, or have a business that runs itself, you have to be willing to live frugally and build something up from nothing for many, many years. You have to put in the work to build the systems, to hire the people who have your vision, to recruit the right talent, to automate the system, and that takes a long time. And if you want to lose 30 pounds, like, you have to go through the pain of dieting, you have to go through the pain of tracking your macros, of putting the sweets away for weeks and months on end. And then if you look at the opposite side of that, nearly everything that's bad for you gives you immediate gratification and then pain in the future. If you choose to stay on the couch and play video games instead of going and exercising, you're getting that instant dopamine hit, that instant gratification right there in that moment, but then you're gonna be paying for it later if you do that over and over and over again. If you choose to eat that piece of cake instead of stopping after the chicken and the vegetables, and moderation is okay, of course, but if you're doing that over and over and over and over again, you're getting that instant gratification hit, but you're going to pay for it later. And growing out your hair is a process. You do have to suffer through the awkward stages. You have to suffer through learning about a lot of new things, about your hair care, about your hair type, and you might get a little overwhelmed. But if you can stay patient and delay some gratification, I promise you will achieve more than just an epic flow. You will have started building a very, very important habit to have in life, and that's the habit of delaying your gratification. So guys, that's all I have for you in this video. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.